Welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we are strapping in for what can only be described as an absolute roller coaster of an itinerary. We're looking at day 2 of a breathtaking journey through Zhangjiajie, China. We're going to go from soaring literally above the clouds to diving deep into rich local minority cultures, all in a single day. Okay, let's dive into this immersive, action-packed adventure. Here is our itinerary for the day. We'll be covering 1. Zhangjiajie cable car and morning. 2. Dizzying cliff, glass walkway. 3. Mystical Tianmen Cave, 999 steps. 4. Gastronomy in Tusi Castle. And finally, 5. Splendid night at 72 Stilted Buildings. Section 1. Zhangjiajie cable car and morning. So, to survive a day like this, you need serious fuel. And hey, the local hotels totally know this. You start your morning with a massive breakfast spread catering to a huge influx of tourists. We're talking everything from a Western salad bar to Korean kimchi and custom-cooked hot noodles where you get to add your own spices. With a full stomach, you head right across the street to the cable car station. It's a massive logistical operation, but if you're a foreign traveler, you just head to the right lane. The staff there will scan your passport against your pre-booked 1-hour entry time slot. It is incredibly efficient. Now, 7.45. That is the length, in kilometers, of the world's longest passenger cable car. You step into a cabin that holds up to 8 people, and for the next 30 minutes, you're on a steady ascent to 1,518 meters. But what's truly wild is how the journey begins. You don't start out in the wilderness. The cable car launches right from the middle of the bustling city. You actually soar directly over residential rooftops. You can look right down into people's courtyards. Then, as you pierce through the clouds, you look down to see the dizzying 99 bends of Tianmen Avenue winding like a ribbon below you. It's just a jaw-dropping transition from urban sprawl to towering peaks. Let's move to and see how this builds into our next staggering number, 1,430. That represents the altitude in meters of the infamous glass walkway. Imagine stepping off a cable car, walking for 5 minutes, and suddenly the solid rock beneath you is replaced by 60 meters of totally transparent, reinforced glass. You are literally suspended in the sky, looking straight down a sheer vertical cliff face. And to complete our trio of staggering numbers, we have 999. Later in the day, this is the exact number of exhausting, steep stone steps you have to navigate to descend from the towering Tianmen Cave. These 3 numbers, 7.45 kilometers in the air, 1,430 meters on glass, and 999 steps down, perfectly set the stage for the sheer, awe-inspiring physical scale of today's trek. Section 2, Dizzying Cliff, Glass Walkway. Stepping out into the west root of the mountain, you're immediately greeted by a sea of clouds. It feels like you've just stepped into a traditional ink wash painting. The air is crisp, the altitude is extreme, and well, this is where the real physical challenge begins. And this brilliantly illustrates the magic of this place. Even if you are 100, how can you say you're old if you haven't seen Zhangjiajie? As you stand on that clear glass cliff walk, surrounded by a sea of clouds you'd normally only see out of an airplane window, that quote really hits home. It captures the sheer wonder of the landscape. It's a place that completely reawakens your inner child and demands your absolute awe for sure, no matter your age. But before you can experience all that awe, you do have to pay a small toll. 5 yuan for protective cloth shoe covers to keep the glass pristine. And honestly, the reactions on the walkway are hilarious. Some people are just completely frozen in fear, clinging for dear life to the concrete wall, while others are casually lying down on the glass taking selfies. Once you survive that whole ordeal, you find sweet relief on the Gigu plank road, which hugs the cliff's contours. You cross an adrenaline-pumping, swinging suspension bridge, walk past forests tied with thousands of red wishing ribbons, and eventually arrive at the serene Tianmen Mountain Temple. Originally built in the Tang and Qing dynasties, it sits peacefully way up at an elevation of 1,500 meters. Section 3, Mystical Tianmen Cave, 999 steps. From the west route, we shift over to the misty east route. The weather here changes super fast. Thick fog rolls in, wrapping around the Lingquan Spring, giving the entire area this mystical vibe, kind of like a realm where immortals might live. And to get from the mountain peaks down to the famous cave, Zhangjiajie engineers did something unbelievable. They built a massive system of 12 escalators straight through the solid mountain rock. After taking the first 7 escalators down through the rock, you emerge at the world's highest elevation limestone cave, Tianmen Cave. The dimensions here are absolutely massive. 131.5 meters high, 57 meters wide, and 60 meters deep.
To put that into perspective, it's essentially a giant naturally formed gateway to heaven. From here, you face a choice. You can carefully climb down the legendary 999 Stairway to Heaven steps, really watching your knees as you go, or if you prefer to save your joints, you can just pay 32 yuan to take 5 more escalators the rest of the way down to the bottom plaza.
When you finally hit the plaza at the bottom and look back up at that colossal opening, you'll spot a pretty funny sign nearby that reads, "No time to miss you." It's a humorous play on those typical romantic tourist signs. It's basically saying, the scenery here is so overwhelmingly dramatic and visually demanding that you literally don't have the brain space to be homesick or miss anybody.
After catching your breath, it's time to head down the mountain. Here's how the timeline for the descent plays out. At minute 0, you hop on a shorter descending cable car that glides right past the curving Cake Road of Tianmen Avenue. By minute 20, you pass over a massive 3,000-seat outdoor theater set perfectly against the valley. This is the venue for the famous Tianmen Fox Ferry show, which features a staggering cast of 500 actors performing a local love story at night. Then, by minute 35, you're off the cable car and onto a free shuttle bus, zipping you right back into the city center.
Section 4. Gastronomy and Tusi Castle. After surviving sheer drops and thousands of stairs, it's time to swap mountain thrills for some city culture. A quick 6 yuan taxi ride, which by the way is incredibly cheap, drops you right into the bustling heart of Zhangjiajie city for a much-needed restorative lunch and a bit of urban exploration.
So the crucial point is, Zhangjiajie isn't just about rocks and cliffs. The local food scene is fantastic. Imagine sitting down to a steaming Heidelberg hot pot with rich tomato broth dipping delicate Wagyu beef. You even get dinner and a show with the traditional noodle dance, where the chef vigorously whips the dough around to music. And yes, sometimes they accidentally drop it and have to start all over, which honestly just adds to the fun. Afterward, you can wander into a massive maze-like underground shopping mall that feels like an endless subterranean city. There, you can grab a delicious pistachio ice cream from a local shop called Phobia for just 14 yuan, seamlessly paying with a quick scan of Alipay on your phone.
Once you're all fueled up, a short 15 yuan taxi ride brings you to the gates of Tusi Castle. Originally dating back to the 1730s, the entrance is guarded by a mythological Pixiu statue, a creature with a lion's body, phoenix wings, and a dragon's face. You pay a 17 yuan entry fee and walk right into a marvel of traditional Tujia architecture. The absolute crown jewel here is the Gujang Tien. It is a staggering 12-story, 42 meters tall wooden stilted building built right on a steep incline. The most mind-blowing fact about it, it holds a Guinness record because that entire massive wooden structure was constructed without using a single metal nail. Section 5. Splendid night at 72 Stilted Buildings. As late afternoon approaches, you take another quick 10 yuan taxi ride to Zhangjiajie's newest, hottest landmark, the 72 Stilted Buildings, or 72 Qilo. This towering complex reaches 110 meters high, directly inspired by the natural arch of Tianmen Cave. Interestingly, the entry fee jumps from 20 yuan up to 88 yuan if you arrive after 4:30 p.m. Why? Because when the sun goes down, this place completely transforms. The night lights are incredibly vibrant, illuminating traditional plays, lively streets, and creating a magical atmosphere that is absolutely well worth the extra cost. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the deep cultural history you get to witness during the evening performances. You get a glimpse into the unique traditions of the Tujia people, a matrilineal society that worships the white tiger. Their historical marriage customs are super fascinating. Step 1, the prospective groom arrives bearing gifts of smoked meat and a pig's tail. Step 2, he doesn't just get married, he has to work for the bride's family for a full month as a test of his character. And finally, Step 3, the verdict. If the bride's family approves, they send him away with a basket containing 3 eggs. If he's rejected, he just gets a pigtail in the basket. What a day of wild contrasts, right? On one hand, you have the terrifying mountain extremes, wobbly legs on a glass floor at 1430 meters, and 999 exhausting stone steps. On the other hand, you have an incredibly relaxing and colorful evening. You end the explainer narrative at a local restaurant proudly displaying a sign that says, "Pig is mankind's favorite edible friend," where you devour Zhangjiajie. That's a unique, spicy, 3-ingredient local stir-fry you can literally only find in Zhangjiajie. You take some fun photos with a giant actor dressed as the Monkey King, Sun Wukong. And finally, you sink into a chair for a deeply soothing 60-minute foot massage that only costs 108 yuan. Honestly, it's the perfect remedy for mountain-weary legs. From defying gravity above the clouds on a sheet of glass to descending into the belly of a mystical cave, And finally, immersing yourself in ancient architectural wonders and vibrant Tujia culture, Day 2 in Zhangjiajie is nothing short of legendary. It truly redefines what you can pack into 24 hours. So, looking at everything we unpacked today, I leave you with this final provocative thought. After experiencing heart-pounding heights and rich cultural flavors in a single day, what bounds are you willing to push on your next adventure? Thanks so much for joining me on this incredible explainer.